What is up, guys? Welcome back to the show. I hope you guys are having a great day. And today we're going to talk about last night's opening game, Blazers Kings. Yes, the Blazers lost to the Kings by 3, 124-121. And I just kind of had the night to sit through and to think on the game and then hear the press conferences after and kind of what their takeaways were. And you know, it is disappointing. No one wants to lose on opening night, especially to, a younger team, but you gotta give respect. The Kings played hard, they made tough shots. The Blazers didn't come out hard, didn't have like that energy throughout the game, and it resulted in a loss and where they had to turn it up in the fourth quarter, march and try to pull a comeback off on the backs of CJ McCollum. He was playmaking, playing defense, scoring, but they fall short. And honestly, they still had a chance at the end of the game because Dame had a 3 at the buzzer to tie it, send it to overtime that just rimmed out. But really, you could look at it and say the difference was Dame went 0 for 9 from 3, which rarely ever happens. And on the other hand, there was Harrison Barnes, who dropped 36 points, looked like he was hitting everything that he took, and no one was guarding him out there. And so this game, I'm not going to put too much into it and overreact, but there were some good things, there were some bad things. But my biggest takeaway, though, had to have been the Blazers' lack of urgency. And this stems back even to last season, and I think this is the reason why we didn't see a ton of blowout games from the Blazers, is they just don't come out with that firepower. They let the Kings punch them in the face for 3 quarters, and then when their back is against the wall, they're like, oh guys, we're gonna lose this game if we don't turn it up. And they always would come up and have comeback games. A lot of games decided by 5 points or fewer, clutch moments. And I really want to see the Blazers play like they played in the fourth quarter of that game. Their defense was solid. There wasn't many mess ups, and they just played with fight, and Chauncey called it pride. And that's what we got to see from all 4 quarters. I expect their next game for them to come out hard and do that, because the effort they gave in the first 3 was not what we wanted to see. It's not what they were talking about in the preseason and offseason about how they were going to come with a defensive mentality when you let the Kings put 124 points on the board. And so I don't want to put too much into it, like I said, but there was some great things I saw on the offense as far as the ball movement, the rotations, the motion, and it looked different. The defense even looked different too on how they were playing the picks and trapping them. It just looked like the rotations, they overhelped or weren't in the right spots necessarily, but I like to see the little differences they were making. They just really need to tweak it and tune it up. And other than that, though, I thought the Blazers bench was phenomenal. I thought every guy that came off the bench came in and did something a little different. They all kind of put their little flavor onto the game. Nas had his energy. Ant was scoring and playmaking really well. And I would have, even Chauncey said he was kicking himself after the game for not playing Anthony Simons more minutes, because he shot 5 for 6, was playmaking, playing some good D, and just kind of was a difference maker out there. He was a guy that was hitting shots when all the Blazers weren't. Like I said, Nasir Little, he had energy. He made a lot of good plays, where he got the ball back and just, he was kind of like that instant energy, right? Which was kind of lacking throughout the game. And I thought Zeller and Nance were the best defenders yesterday. They came in and played solid minutes. I even tweeted out, like, how nice was it to see a bench come in and actually kind of outproduce the other team? Not blow a lead. They kept it steady. I think Nance and Zeller together were a +10, ±. And so I loved what I saw out of both of them. Zeller, honestly, was my favorite Blazer from yesterday. And I just love the little pieces they can put together with these guys that come off the bench, because it looks strong. The starters, however, they weren't necessarily at their best together. I just didn't think they looked like a good coherent group on the floor. Rocco looked lost a couple times, and in the preseason and offseason, we talked about how Chauncey was going to label guys in film, right? It looked like Robert Covington is going to have the finger pointed at him a lot in the film room. It just looked like he was out of place a lot of the time, and he was kind of invisible on the court. He didn't really make that much of an impact in my eyes. And other than that, Nurk started slow but finished strong. We still saw some of the CJ. And real quick, Nurk, I gotta say, his finishing, he needs to be better. He needs to be better at finishing. Take his time around the rim. No, he's a big body. There's not that many guys that are as big as him. And he can just play bully ball, off of these picks. And it looks like he just kind of, if you watch the games, he flicks shots up and looks out of control. And we really got to see him take his time and be patient and confident. I think it's going to do well for him. Norm was aggressive, but CJ, that's what I want to talk about. CJ, he had a great game, I thought. Defense, playmaking, scoring, just having the confidence to shoot the ball, knowing it's going to go in. We did in the first half, though, see a little bit of that classic CJ ISO ball where the ball gets stopped. And any play like that, it's such a bad play to watch. It makes all his good plays not look as good because you just look at those ISO ball situations where you're like, just swing the ball, move it around. But I thought he played well. And like we said with Dame, everything outside of his shooting was good. He looked like he was controlling the offense, getting what he wanted. But when his shots aren't falling and he shoots 9 threes, it's really tough because those missed threes lead to long rebounds, which means the Kings can run out in space, which they're all fast, young guys. And I thought that was a big little difference maker in this game, is just the amount of missed threes from the Blazers. And so we don't want to put too much stock into this game, but it's like a lot of these things that they were addressing and talking about in the off season. It's like, well, your first game didn't look necessarily like what we wanted it to, right? And I know they're gonna get better. I just have faith looking at it. There was a lot of missed shots, miscues that they can tweak easily, but it's like you got to be better. And I think the biggest thing for me is the sense of pride and the urgency. That's a mindset thing. I get you're gonna have to, it takes a while to get rid of all those bad habits from the past, but you gotta come out and punch other teams in the face. And that's what I want to see moving forward from the Blazers. But it was a kind of meh first game. I wasn't super, I loved watching the guys. I loved seeing all the new stuff they were doing, but it didn't seem like there was many fireworks in this game, if that makes sense. It just seemed like they weren't ready for a home opener. And so that's my main thing I'm going to look for moving forward is, do they have the sense of urgency? And does it look like they have the energy coming out where they know they're better? They got to punch them in the face. And so anyways, the season is here. It is a great time to watch Blazers, talk about Blazers. There's so many little things in these games that we can go over. And I'm just excited to see what comes from this Blazers season. There might be a rough start with all the changes, but I have high faith they can turn it around. They're going to be a very solid team. And we'll see if there's any moves on the horizon, depending on how they do so far. So let me know what you guys think. What was your favorite moment from game one? Your favorite player? Things you noticed? Drop them in the comments. But until the next game, I'll make another video on it because it's so fun. I'll see you guys. Take care.